The man slapped his female coworker's bottom while at work, but he never expected this would bring him complete disaster. The boss, who saw the scene from nearby, immediately fired him on the spot. However, when he packed up to leave, he realized he forgot his phone. With no choice, Mike had to go back upstairs one more time. But as soon as he got upstairs, he accidentally witnessed a murder scene. Mike was terrified and hid in the corner, trembling. Fortunately, the killer didn't notice his presence. Then, while the killer was disposing of the body, Mike hurried to find his phone and call the police. When he opened the door, he discovered a coworker who hadn't left yet. Seeing this situation, Mike quickly told his coworker there was a killer in the company. After discussing it, they decided to escape first and then call the police. But unexpectedly, the killer had already cut the power to the elevator. When they reached the emergency exit, they found it was also locked. So they decided to split up. The coworker would get a phone to call the police. Mike would head to the boss's office, because he remembered the boss was still in the company. But when he reached the boss's office, he found it completely empty. Meanwhile, the coworker had just dialed the police, when the killer appeared right behind him. With no choice, the coworker had to hang up the emergency call. Then the killer immediately pulled out a gun and pointed it at the back of his head. He wanted to know if there were other people in the company. The man firmly said he was the only one left. Hearing this, the killer patted his head and turned to leave. But just when he thought he'd saved his life, the killer grabbed an electrical cord and finished him off. On the other side, unaware, Mike planned to meet up with his coworker, then figure out their next move. But when he reached the office door, he saw a shadow that looked like the killer. In panic, Mike quickly hid in the nearby bathroom, but the next second he discovered the security guard's body. Just as he went to check, he accidentally triggered the flush. Afraid the killer would hear the noise, Mike quickly hid inside. To be safe, he then stepped on top of the body. But then the killer walked into the bathroom. Hearing the movement, Mike immediately panicked. Fortunately, the killer was just there to clean the blood off himself. This instantly made Mike breathe a sigh of relief. But unexpectedly, the killer suddenly spoke.
How you doing in there, Barney? You want to toss me your keys?
Fortunately, the killer was just talking about the keys on the body. But this undoubtedly meant the killer would soon come in to get the keys. So Mike, thinking quickly, immediately made a crazy decision.